Good morning, New York. This is the Jayson Buford Show. I am your host, as always, Jayson Buford, and we have a very special guest, like my guy, Josh Lewis.
Hey man, how's it going? Happy to be here. The Jayson Buford Show. It's real. It's back. You better be tuning in.
Yeah, it's back. Josh hosts the Sleazoids Podcast and is generally just like one of the greatest, I think, like tastemakers of cinema that we have online, and
God.
and generally speaking, and I've learned a lot from him.
Jayson, you've been on the show so many times. We try to have you on once a year, and some of your episodes are some of our favorite episodes. So the second you asked, I was like, no, I got to jump on.
Thank you.
The
Yeah,
Jayson
but
Show.
I think you do such a good job of like really like world cinema. You know, like it's like you really go deep into it. A lot of like genre work. You know, Sleazoids is a genre podcast, which I think is really cool. And it's always really fun to like talk movies with you, and you have such a sharp brain, so I just really appreciate
Thanks so much, man.
on. Yeah, man. Yeah. We both like a lot of movies that came out this year. Oscar nominations have just dropped, so I figured let's start with that.
Which we did not plan for at all.
No,
you had a whole set list of things you were maybe considering talking about, and then all of a sudden it became Oscar Discourse Day, and then we were like, well, we got to get on that. We're two movie guys, two film bros.
It was really a tough day online. There's just things I saw where, you know, I constantly, I don't know about you, but I constantly see things where I disagree with both people involved in these arguments where you disagree with both of the people in the argument.
Yeah. I had a very fun, you know, if we're gonna open with maybe topics that became very hard to read very quickly. I know you have a few of your own, but one of the big ones for me was everyone was like, F1, that is the worst movie that's ever been nominated for Best Picture. And I was like, we had Amelia Perez nominated last year. Coda won like 3 years ago, which was made by the same Apple studio. And I was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just a new cycle of every year we all have the memory of what's only come out in the last 12 months and whatnot. And I was not even a particular lover of F1, and I had some issues with, you know, didn't like it as much as Maverick. On a tech basis, I was impressed by it, but I really didn't get it. Maverick's way better. I didn't get anything out of the script for F1, and honestly, even the Brad Pitt performance, like, it's a classic effortless movie star thing that he's doing, but it's just, there's not much to it. Yeah. So if I felt in such a weird place to be defending F1 getting a Best Picture. I was like, a mediocre, crowd-pleasing movie that your dad likes makes its way into Best Picture every so often, and there's been way worse movies.
I felt when I was seeing that, I was like, you're telling me that The Shape of Water is better than F1?
Yeah, don't even get me started on the fact that
don't even get me started on The Shape of Water, everyone.
The Del Toro annual spot that he gets, no matter the quality of the movie. And I didn't love Frankenstein this year, which is maybe my hot take of the year. I really didn't like it at all at the film festival when it played.
I actually did not even see Frankenstein, which is crazy to talk about. I mean, you mean to tell me Poor Things is better than F1?
Yeah, again, there's mediocre movies like this that get nominated every year. So either way, I didn't feel that strongly about it, but the fact that was the prevailing conversation, which was like, all of these movies are great except for F1, which is the only movie it's crazy, it's insane, it's silly that it's in there. And I was like, I don't know, I've seen too many Oscar nomination days.
Women talking, like what are we do? Like, what are we actually talking about? What are we doing?
What do you mean? Two guys didn't like women talking? What do you mean? We're already getting into it.
Yeah. So, Oscar nominations drop. We have, let's see, Best Picture started with Sinners.
Had to be there. Everyone knew it was there basically the weekend it came out.
Yeah. I saw arguments that it should have been, like, you know, my dad was like, I think they're gonna diss it. And I was like, no, it'll be nominated, Pop, trust me. Like, yeah. Sinners, Train Dreams.
Yep.
The Secret Agent.
Yep. That was a surprise for me. I'm glad that one's in there.
That was a surprise for me too. Hamnet.
It's so typical film bro to be. The one movie I didn't watch was the one directed by Chloe Zhao. Yeah, I haven't seen yet, so I have no opinion. I skipped it at TIFF, unfortunately, and it was nothing to do It was really to do.
Also have no opinion on the film. It's
I heard that it used On the Nature of Daylight and was about Shakespeare's kid dying, and it had 2 actors in it I don't particularly love. So I was like, I don't necessarily need to see
That's kind of a interesting take. We'll get to that. That's kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be After Sun, fantastic movie. Paul Mescal's amazing in it, but outside of that, I haven't been impressed. So,
I do like Buckley. Buckley, she has this weird face, weird smile face, real like British kind of face that I find pretty interesting, or Irish face rather, that I find really interesting. So Frankenstein, F1. How do you pronounce this? Begonia.
Begonia, yep.
Begonia. Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value. So, we got the best pictures.
It's an okay lineup.
It's an okay lineup.
I can live with that.
Yeah, I can live with that lineup. I thought, it was just an accident. It was very telling.
Yeah, I think they've hit a point where they were like 2 non-English language films can make it in, but no more than that, and we won't go further than that. And I mean, that's
classic Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's like something that's unexpected necessarily, at all. But yeah, definitely unfortunate because I don't know. I personally, it was just an accident. Was a easy like top 5 of the year for me, and of all of the non-English ones that got nominated, that was definitely, I think, my favorite. That and Secret Agent. I would have happily substituted Sentimental Value for It Was Just an Accident, but in terms of like what films they are and who they appeal to, Sentimental Value has Elle Fanning sitting across from Stellan Skarsgård, doing a weepy melodrama monologue. One of those is going to do more than the much more subtly angry film based out of Iran, right? So, but yeah, Jafar Panahi would have been nice to see him get a Best Picture nomination.
Would have been great.
I was not expecting it, so this is it's not a major disappointment or anything.
I personally admire that movie more than I love it. Personally, I just found, I think it's a powerful piece of art, and I really encourage people to go see it. Please go see It Was Just an Accident. I found myself it reminded me of Parasite a little bit, where I was like, okay, I can see why people love this, and this is like the first time he's getting traction It's
the first time he made anything that was like thrillery, I guess you could say, right? Like there was something a little bit more pleasing to that. Even though I gotta confess, I think who he is generally as a filmmaker, even in his previous work, is so in that film, because like the fact that has such a grim subject matter and is based on some of his own experience being in prison and interviewing guys who had been in prison under the regime. I do think it's really interesting that like what I've always loved about him is he's so funny, and he's such a kind person. And I mean, the film he's really well known for is This Is Not a Film, the film where he was under house arrest and had his friend film him talking about the film he wanted to make and got around the filmmaking ban that he was under in his home country. And you just sit there, you watch that, you're just like, man, I'd love to sit on a couch with this guy and watch DVDs with this guy. This is awesome. And so that component I was pleased to find out, made its way into It Was Just an Accident. He didn't like change himself to get something that got Oscar nominations. It was just, he packaged it in a little bit of a different way. But that main character in that film is so much like him, and the fact that it has this like warm slapstick, I'm kind of building a community while we're trying to figure out who hurt us and who did this to us. And yeah, good movie though. Yeah,
I thought so too. I thought the photographer is my favorite character in the film. I think she has the best performance too. She's really, really great, and just like the calming presence, but also her end into the movie is like the most uncalm shit. Like
Yeah.
So it's almost about like how she's hiding a lot of her anger inside of her, which is I think really interesting. But that movie does not get nominated, and said that's what we have for Best Picture. I think it's a pretty decent list.
I mean, One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, these are easily 2 of my favorite movies of the year. Happy to see them there. I anticipate them winning a bunch of stuff. I'm happy with that. And Sinners. I really like Sinners too. So
Best Actor, we have Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leo for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, which I have not seen. Have not seen
Yeah,
it.
I actually haven't seen that one either, but everyone I've heard from, and I trust a lot of the people who have told me that he's especially amazing in the film, and the film is really good. So I'm looking at this lineup, and even having not seen Blue Moon, this is one of the best actor lineups we've had in a long time.
In a long time.
Across the board.
Across the board.
There's no stinker. Like, normally there's at least two that you're just like, oh, really? And usually one of those two wins.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, and this is the first one in a long time where I'm like, no, these are three of my, or at least four of the five are four of my favorite actor performances of the year.
Yeah,
so.
Last year, for example, we have Brody, Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Ray Fiennes, Sebastian Stan, right? Like, I don't love The Brutalist. I think Brody's good in that. I don't love The Brutalist personally. I know you're not an Apprentice fan. Like, you're
I did not like The Apprentice, but I didn't mind Stan's performance.
Right.
So, that. But yeah, there's no. That definitely has movies in it where I'm more either mid or don't like them. This has no movies that I didn't like, and like I thought they were all great, and all the performances were great.
You know what's what's really not a good year? 2023, we go Frazier for The Whale, Austin Butler
brutal
for Elvis, Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, Mescott for After Sun, Bill Nye for Living. That's a brutal year, man. Oh, that's a brutal year.
And of course, the worst one, The Whale, is the winner.
It's the winner,
like that's
right?
how it goes. So this one, I look at whoever wins this, and I'm like, I'm probably happy with that.
yeah. I mean, it's going to be an interesting race. I personally really, really love Leo in One Battle After Another.
It's one of his very best performances, but you do have to wonder if they feel like they've given him the legacy Oscar already for The Revenant, and it's Timmy's time.
You know what's frustrating about that, though? So, like, if we talk about a lot of... He only has one, right? Like,
He's only got the one.
He only got the one.
And arguably, it was one that it was a makeup one. It was one he shouldn't have gotten anyway. Like, it was The Revenant, right? And it was the apology one for sorry we didn't give it to you for Wolf of Wall Street, because Wolf of Wall Street should have been the legacy one.
I mean, Wolf of Wall Street.
That should have been, you've been here for 25 years now. You've been excellent for that entire time. This is the most physically demanding and insane performance I think that you've given. They could have played the clip of him fucking on Quaaludes getting at it, trying to get into the fucking Lamborghini. It was an upset. Everyone was upset about it, and The Revenant was the next movie, the next performance, and they were instantly like, okay, you got it, man. So yeah.
It's what's really funny is, like, when Denzel won for Training Day, I remember a lot of the chatter was like, well, he should have won for Malcolm X, which is absolutely true. He should definitely have won for Malcolm X. Absolutely. But it almost underrated Training Day as a performance.
The Training Day performance is it's actually one of the few where I look back and I go, I don't know that I love that movie, but the performance is unimpeachable. Like, you can't argue it at all.
Yeah, the performance.
It's full movie star command for the whole runtime.
It's really a ridiculous film. It's really so ridiculous, and he matches the ridiculousness of the film like step by step. It's really amazing. So in fact, what's really funny is Wolf of Wall Street feels actually kind of like his Training Day, but he should have really won for Wolf of Wall Street. Like, Wolf of Wall Street is just so unbelievable, and then instead they give it to give it for The Revenant. But Leo's
just been around long enough that he's gotten so many nominations. He's only won the once, so for sure I could see them giving it to him again. I just I would not be upset about it. It's absolutely one of the best lead performances in any movie that came out this year. Love it. It's up there with Wolf of Wall Street and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as his three best performances. Every time he goes funny, every time he gets physical, it's probably his best performance. I do just look at this and I go, but Michael B. Jordan and Timmy are like the young guys who are coming into their peak, and they're vying for it. And I don't know, maybe those two cancel each other out. Maybe there's too much split, like which young guy do we back? But I don't know. Part of me could see it going for either one of them. So
Michael B. Jordan's great in Sinners. I think he is the saving grace of a lot of the issues I have with the film, and especially its pacing, and especially its decision makers at the end of the movie, its structure. He, though, is excellent step by step.
I mean, he carries it.
Yeah, the subtle differences between the twins, he's really, really great at playing. Right, like those little minor differences, he carries it. I thought the scene with him and Annie at her house when he comes back is like the sexiest thing I've seen in theaters in a really long time. It was so hot. Like, And it's one of the things I used to worry about Michael B. Jordan was, okay, you're handsome, but are you fucking, right? Like you're handsome, but you know what I mean? Like, you're a handsome movie star, but are you like, do you have like sexual command? Are you, you know, like you're charming, but like, are you like, are you, can you get it? Like, are you, you know what I mean? Are you getting pussy? Like, there's an energy, I think, sometimes to him in his previous films, especially I'm talking Creed and Black Panther, where it feels almost like so inert. It's so aggressive and so quick and so fast. It's like really inert, you know. And in fairness to him, he's playing like hyper masculine characters in that. But I thought this time in Sinners, he does a great job of just like
he's definitely doing some of his best work. Even though, yeah, like I love Creed and I love his performance.
No, we love Creed. Yeah, Creed's our favorite Coogler. I think you and I, right?
Yeah, I was so like really disappointed the year that came out and Stallone was the only nomination, and famously that was the Oscars so white year after the fact too, right? Because I think people fucking knew. It was like, how is Stallone supporting actor the only nomination?
He's good. He is actually
he's fantastic.
Really, he's
but
fantastic
the only thing, otherwise that would be a movie that would normally, you know, it would be across at least, you know, Coogler for screenwriting, for coming to Stallone and writing this new chapter for that character that got him nominated. No, okay.
Yeah. No, so, not that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a you know, a bit of a long time coming, I think, for both of these guys and their collaborations, and they're definitely, I think, both you know, they did something incredibly impressive to be able to, I mean, 16 nominations, like it is the record for most nominations of any movie for Sinners, and I think that will result in years from now the conversation on, was that overrated? Was that, you know, whatever? But I don't know. I went there opening weekend, and the theater experience was real with that one. People had a fantastic time. I went again even a couple days later, and it was just, yeah, like it was a movement kind of movie. So
it reminds me of The Dark Knight a little bit, in that it was such a big cultural moment that for me, I still look fondly upon the film, even though I have questions about its structure and its politics.
Sure.
Right? Like, I think a lot of what Coogler is doing in movies is really interesting, because he's essentially saying that the vampires are, and I think it's a little bit of a critique of the movie system itself, right? Of movie studios themselves. Like, the vampires are essentially neoliberals in this film, in a way. And what he's doing is he's kind of rejecting that for a lesser existence as Sammy, right? Who's by no means rich by the end of the movie. He's playing at like a little mini blues bar, but he's objectively like the sickest guy, you know? And so I think that's a pretty interesting political statement that Coogler is attempting to make.
Well, yeah, the vampires approach the, you know, the venue that they've built there, and they are offering a form of assimilation, but it is a very kind of like perverse, almost invasion of the body snatchers. Like, you aren't you or your family or your history, and, you know, the soulfulness that Sammy has as he's playing that song that attracts them in the first place, right? Like, yeah, he's definitely, I think, saying so. It's one of the things that impressed me about both it and One Battle After Another this year, and I think the same, maybe Marty Supreme, I guess, too, even though it's less big of a movie than either of those two, is that we had so many different filmmakers who have been around for a little while who were able to go big and maximalist like this, and I think maintain the personal component of their film. Like, I watch Sinners and I go, yeah, that's like a $200 million like genre film, absolutely, and it delivers on the genre movie, vampire movie goods once it gets there. It's gory, it has Fright Night makeup, it has, you know, the things that you want out of stuff. It has Michael B. Jordan with a fucking Tommy gun gunning down a bunch of white supremacists. Like, it delivers on that level. But at the same time, I watch it and I could see all of the components where Coogler was like, this started as researching for a documentary about the Great Migration and about, you know, blues music and all of this. And the fact that all of that personal history, I think, made its way into the drama of the film, like you were saying there, I think is what's kind of impressive about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is really... I also thought that the Delta history of the South, they do such a good job with the Asians and the Native American stuff. Like, I think it took such research, you can tell, to do the movie. I just feel like Coogler's a little Marvel-brained, and you can see that at the end with some of the mid-credit scenes.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
That was a big mistake. There's a shot in the juke joint where, you know, they're all gearing up to, like, fight the vampires, and it's like very, very like Avengers like, There's like
I
a
could
little
see
bit,
that.
there's like a little bit stuff where he's like I think, and he's such a brilliant filmmaker. I mean, we talk about, I think the scene that I think is his actual best scene so far in his filmography's history is the scene in Creed when Adonis is jogging, and then you have the dirt wheeling bikes, and it's like Meek Mill's playing.
Incredible.
That scene is like incredible. And I think he was going for a lot of that in the movie, and it didn't quite land as well as I think he lands it there in Creed.
I could see that.
Yeah. But, interesting. It's an interesting cultural moment, and I think a lot of people have been very, very hard on him, or I think are afraid to criticize him. And it's just like, I think he's gonna get better and better and better and make greater movies, and
I'm excited to see what this success gets him next. See if he can spend some of that studio capital he's got the way that Nolan is, and being like, I demand to have this window and have this budget and be able to tell this story on this scale. And I'm always curious what a filmmaker who gets that level of freedom does with it next. So hopefully it's good things for Coogler, who I still think has a lot ahead of him. He's not, him and Safdie are both pretty young to be hitting this stage of their careers.
Yeah. Best supporting actor, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, had to be there. That he should win.
I think so too. Jacob
he
Elordi.
Should, even though I would feel I would not be upset about Delroy Lindo winning as a legacy.
Yeah. we have Del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Delroy Lindo, Sean Penn, Stellan Skarsgård. The Penn performance, look, if Penn wins, I get it, because Lockjaw is such an integral part of what
it's the most intense show-offy performance in the movie. The Academy gravitates towards that. You can't argue that.
It's also like his character is integral to what One Battle After Another is attempting to say about white supremacy.
Absolutely.
And how it denies yourself of love, and it denies yourself of love of other people, thus also self-love.
And it is one of the strangest physical performances of his career. I think that is nominated. Like, it's worth noting that is like a truly deranged performance in a way that I'm glad that it's here.
Yeah, I'm glad it's here too. It's not very subtle.
No.
It's not. He's not a subtle actor, though. There's this great tweet. It's this NBA Twitter tweet where someone says Jason Tatum is the Paul George of LeBron James's, and that's how I feel about Penn. Sean Penn is the, Colin Farrell of Daniel Day-Lewis's, or he's, you know what I mean? Like, Colin Farrell's probably not the best example, but Sean Penn is the whatever of. He's the Mel Gibson of Daniel Day-Lewis's. Like, it's like,
there you go.
Yes, that's perfect. He's the Mel Gibson of Daniel Day-Lewis's, where it's like, he is a good actor. I don't know how great of an actor he is. Like, he's just, he's always really intense. Mystic River is also like a very loud, showy performance.
That's just it. I think that it can be used poorly. Like, what his skills are can be deployed, not well. And I think that PTA just knows exactly what he's doing with him, because that performance, he needs to be this weird force, like this almost Terminator, like, just like weird, horny, violent dude who you're just constantly just scared of in a way, and anxious about where he is and where he's coming for you. And I think the way that you can tell that performance is what it is designed to be is the fact that so much else around him is so much more subtle.
Yes.
Like, Del Toro is a much smaller performance and a beautiful performance, I think, and so funny. Love hanging out every second with Sensei Sergio, drinking the Modelo's with him on the road with Leo. Like, it's just that performance is so underplayed in a totally reverse way, but in such a perfect way. So I do wonder if, again, similarly to like having two from the same movie in the same category sometimes makes people cancel each other out. It's hard to select just one. So I do wonder if that harms either of their chances, or if Sean Penn just being so showy gets him way more votes than Benicio del Toro. I'm not totally sure there.
Penn has 2 Oscars, right? He's got one for Mystic River and he's got one for Milk, right? So I wonder.
Can't argue the legacy one. Yeah, that's true.
So my favorite performance is still Carlito's Way, which is like really, it's
he's
a long
so
time
fucking
ago.
good in
He's
that movie.
so good in Carlito's Way. Like that is like Del Palma like really understands like his showiness and like does a great job of like he's just perfect in that movie.
What do you think about the Delroy Lindo legacy Oscar, though? I don't know, man. It's possible.
No, it's possible. It's possible. He's great in Sinners. He's really, really good in Sinners. That scene, look, it's great, and we just talked about it, but it's great as a hangout movie, too. When it's the first hour, and they're building, and the small community is building this juke joint idea, and you're following these people during their day, it's amazing.
He has so much history and worldliness in the few minutes that he gets. Like the way that he talks to those characters about how long, he had seen this community for, how long he had seen this land for, how much he had been a part of this, and the fact that, he was just like the drunk blues guy that they're like, come play for us, and, he has a great time, and he has that obviously fantastic moment in the finale where he gets to fucking slice his own arm open and tell the vampires to come fucking feast on this or whatever. It's quite a moment for him, and obviously just like a long thing people have been waiting for, because he's been in so many Spike Lee movies at this point where he has been just fantastic and completely unrecognized, like whether it was Clockers or Crooklyn, where he's like literally playing like Spike Lee's dad. Like, he's been just such a player for such a long time, and so there's a chance here that they'll look at this and they'll be like, this is our chance to, how many more of these does Delroy have in him, kind of deal, right? Kind of moments.
He's actually amazing in Malcolm X too.
Malcolm X too.
As West Indian Archie.
He's been in so many.
I think he's incredible as West Indian Archie. And the scene where they're together and Archie's dying and Denzel's Malcolm is just like holding him, and it's just like one of the more tender scenes in that movie, which is a very like intense, aggressive film. But I mean,
and I can't remember if Stellan Skarsgård's won before either, so who knows? Maybe they'll go fucking
Stellan
legacy.
has not won before. That was
legacy. This is a tough category, man. This is a tough category. Stellan Skarsgård legacy Oscar too. It's in the mix. The only one I'm comfortable writing off, and I hope I'm comfortable writing it off, is Jacob Elordi Frankenstein. That's a young one where I'm not getting it. I didn't totally, even in that particular movie, he wouldn't have been the supporting actor I nominated. Like, I would have maybe even looked at Christoph Waltz first. Or
I don't even think Skarsgård has been nominated before. I think this is his first Academy Award nomination. I think
that's actually kind of surprising.
It's very surprising. I thought
he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, he is. No, Good Will Hunting. No. I think this is his first one.
Wow.
This is his first one.
He's got a pretty good shot then.
He's got a pretty good shot. I didn't see Sentimental Value. I didn't see it yet.
I forgot that. Dude. If he hasn't been nominated before, like he's done so many. Like he did Melancholia and Girl with Dragon Tattoo in the same year.
Yes.
Like that's. Like, come on, man.
That's insane.
Could have thrown him a bone there.
Yeah. I would be interested to see who wins this one. I would personally vote for Del Toro. I just think what Sensei is embodying is the gift of community, which is really what a lot of One Battle After Another is really about, right? Like, we talked about these. That's a perfect segue. Like, we talk about a lot of people have been debating One Battle After Another on Twitter, and some of the complaints has been, well, he doesn't view the French 75 in the way that we would like him to view the French 75, right? Like, I don't think this is true, but people have been like, oh, he like jokes on the French 75. He portrays him poorly. He portrays him as impulsive, etc. I think that clearly he views Sensei's version of Revolution as a more practical one. But in the movie, Sensei even tells Bob, it's not every day you get to save a French 75er. Like, the French
75 are legends, too. Even
legends. Yeah, they're legends in the film. Like, they're legends, right? Like, and Sensei has such a gentleness to him, such a realness to him. Bob was just like, I'm sorry I brought this to your door, man. He's like, you've been laid cheese for thousands of years, Bob. You did nothing wrong.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, he's just such an effortlessly cool vision of like a model of what casual everyday work looks like when it comes to protecting your community, like operating his little Latino Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad shit that he's operating, and the way that PTA moves the camera through that entire space with him, and goes from the the false flag, like Antifa attack stuff, to all of the skateboarders briefly attaching themselves to the car window and, you know, loving Sensei and then going off and listening to him and doing his, even the lack of stress when he finds out that like Bob has fallen and done that fucking crazy stunt where he goes down the roof and gets tased and been captured, and he's just like, well, just add it to the list of things we're currently juggling and we'll keep it going. Just ocean waves. I've been saying that all year long, man. He's a model to live after, I think.
Yeah, no, ocean waves. No, he's the best. He's he's the great. He's one of the best characters, I think, in the PTA canon. I don't say that lightly. He's one of my favorite characters PTA has ever written. You know, one thing about PTA that I think is really underrated is a lot of his movies have a lot of heart. Magnolia, for example, is a movie with, you know, Magnolia is a complicated film to talk about because there's a lot of mistakes and it's way too long, obviously. But a lot of the characters in that movie have so much heart. Phil Seymour Hoffman as the nurse Phil has so much heart. And I think PTA is very underrated in that way, is in that how he can take really serious things, but also build a community out of it and build characters that are really beloved. And I think Sensei is such an epitome of that. He's like the number one prime example of it.
Yeah, no, he's a moving, open-hearted filmmaker more often than people give him credit for, I think. And this was a good vision of that, despite making a film where, you know, Leo is a fucking Steely Dan stoner being chased around by a fucking fascist Terminator, right? Like, it's still a fun, entertaining action film in that way. But yeah, no, again, it's personal, it's weird, it's moving. It's kind of stoked that it as recognized as it is. Like, the fact that I'm sitting here going, you know, Marty Supreme or One Battle After Another or Sinners, and I'm like, either one of these three wins in some of these categories, and I'm not upset about it.
Yeah. No. I mean, I would love for One Battle to win. That I'd be okay if Sinners won, and I'd be okay if Marty Supreme won. One Battle to me is just like it's
movie of the year.
Yeah, it's a movie of the year. It really is. It's the movie of the year. The you know. So what's your read on this, on the first half of the film, on the Perfidia and Sean Penn stuff? One, I think, critique that was interesting was
we're going full discourse mode.
We're going full discourse. So in the book, part of what Pynchon's saying in the book is that Perfidia is attracted to Lockjaw because part of what the book is talking about is we are attracted to the images we see on television growing up. And Lockjaw's in a military uniform. And that's like part of the critique of Vinland as a book. That's not in One Battle After Another. You know, like, look, he's adapting the book. He can't just put everything in the book. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's adapting the book. You know what I mean? That's not how it works. So,
I think the sexual component is interesting. I think Perfidia is a really interesting character, but I think partially what it is that maybe it's not direct attraction to the uniform, but I think there's an attraction, I think, for that character of power, of control, and I think he does a good job of showing you that the French 75 are characters who, whether they're flawed in their methods or not, they're characters who are reasserting themselves, and they are gaining power and gaining control, and clearly doing so against forces who deserve to be physically attacked or physically overpowered. And I don't think that, I actually was surprised that was something that people were confused about with the movie, and that they thought that it was like it was like a rat movie, or it was critiquing all of these characters. And I was like, no, I think he's just showing you that, like, you know, there are other reasons people are attracted to doing this kind of work, and part of it is the thrill of it, the adrenaline of it, and also that the work is difficult. And that, like, unfortunately, you're going to get leaned on. You are in a really, really hard fight against people who are going to pressure you. And I don't think that he's, like, that judgmental about characters who rat each other out in this. I didn't feel that way when I watched it anyway. I see a lot of people kind of feeling that he throws some of these characters under the bus who do it. But I think he does a good job of showing you that this force is crazy evil and crazy large that they're up against, and that it's not as easy as just blowing some shit up. But I also don't think that means he's saying don't blow shit up either. Right. I think he is going, you know, like, there is a necessity of this. Like, when they save all those people from, you know, like from the camp, or from, you know, from the prison, not for a second I think is he going, this is bad and not useful. It's like, no, they're saving those people. No, they're just also getting something out of it, you know? Like, they are getting a sense of the people who are trod upon are gaining a sense of control and power. And I think he intertwines that, like the book, into there's a sexual thrill component to that as well. And I don't necessarily think that he thinks that's wrong. I think he thinks that's human.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I also think what people don't understand is, like, when Lockjaw finds Perfidia at the bank, when Lockjaw finds Perfidia in the bathroom of the bank, and she's about to put the bomb in, like, he essentially coerces her, right? He essentially like, commits sexual assault, where he's like, hey, you can do whatever you want. You can do it, but you must meet me at my hotel tonight, right? Like,
well, yeah, and he also shows you another character who is kind of power obsessed in that way too, that the work to him is less important than that weird fucked up dynamic that he's about to create there, which is why he's like, I don't care that you're blowing shit up. I think it's kind of hot that you're blowing shit up. Right. You know, that makes him sort of like a more three-dimensional character as well. Like, he's not just an ideological, you know, he doesn't seem as committed to the project as much as he is about finding an institutional way to get, you know, his impulsiveness out as well.
Yes, yeah. He is not so much a Christmas adventurer so much as he's someone who does their job. He's their lackey, right? Like, what's interesting, I think, about Lockjaw compared to the Christmas adventurers is those guys are like wearing vests and like they're the most swagless type of people, and they're
respectable.
Yeah, they're not Terminators. No, they're not like Terminators. Like, they're not like, you know, violent Terminators who have a fetish for black women. They're just like regular ass degular white supremacists, you know, which is why like the idea of him joining that group doesn't really make any sense. Like, I even think they immediately know as soon as they get him.
He's a weird guy in the audition room with them, and doesn't suit them at all, but they just see him as a tool.
Right, exactly. They see him as a tool. I actually think they know already about, or they have suspicions about him and Perfidia the first time they walk in, the first time he walks in. And that whole thing with Tim Smith, which I love that scene where he like goes through, it's like he goes to this crazy house, and it's, I mean, not crazy, this fucking bland house, and like the grandmother's apple pie or whatever it is. PTA is great. He's the master. But he, like, I think that meeting is, they already have known this about Lockjaw, and they're just like, I don't know, PTA is like giving the audience kind of like a more expository thing where they're, okay, like, they know, and thus now we know. But like, I mean, I'll be interested in seeing if Tiana gets Best Supporting Actress. Best Supporting Actress is Elle Fanning, Sentimental Value. Igna Estadar Elias for Sentimental Value. Yeah, a lot of Sentimental Value. I gotta see it.
Yeah, Sentimental Value got like all four of the major actors all got nominated, which people were talking about how it was interesting that it then also wasn't nominated for Best Casting, which is a brand new category this year, which is interesting. But also, I have a feeling, and because this is a new category and we don't fully understand what what they're judging it based on and who's exactly voting for it, I have a feeling that the Best Casting as an overall award is going to be for the entire ensemble, not the best main actor and main actress, because a lot of the time they're the producers, or they're already signed on. The casting director never actually casted a lot of those actors. So my guess is that the Best Casting award is going to be who did the best, like, in bit roles and in small supporting roles, and that's where you'll see something like Marty Supreme and what Josh Safdie was doing with that just clear house, I think. Because that's what they're so good at with doing that. But yeah, Sentimental Value a lot here in Best Supporting Actress.
A lot here. You know what actually reminds me of a little bit in terms of like the acting awards is like Terms of Endearment has Deborah Winger as I think both Deborah Winger and Shirley MacLaine get nominated for Best Actress, and then Jack gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and maybe Jeff Daniels as well. I'll double check that, but like that's what it kind of reminds me of. But so we have Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wimi Mosaku.
There's your legacy one. If there is one, they love to do it.
There's your legacy. I know you're not a Weapons guy. I liked Weapons.
I liked Weapons, and I will say Amy Madigan is one of the best parts of Weapons too. Like, her performance is definitely something that, you know, like I didn't quite take to Weapons as much as I took to Barbarian, but I do think that part of that was that Barbarian was a surprise shock for me, because I saw it at a midnight screening before it had come out. It actually was the opening night Midnight Madness at TIFF, the year that it came out. So this was like a totally unsuspecting, like, oh my god, where'd this guy come from? And then Weapons, it had a little bit more hype for me. So when I went into it, it was getting a little bit bigger. But there's a lot to like about Weapons. For me, it was just the fact that he did the Barbarian. The moment in Barbarian that absolutely fucking rocked me was Bill Skarsgård goes down into the tunnel. There's some crazy ass fucking witch skeleton that crushes his head in. Cut to Justin Long in the car fucking singing along to the radio, and I'm like, I have no idea where this movie is going. I'm in someone's hands. This is completely unpredictable. This is awesome. The fact that he tries to do that like 6 times in Weapons rather than just like the once or twice that he does in Barbarian, I don't know. It didn't quite work for me structurally in the same way. But Amy Madigan, when she's eventually revealed, when her performance is revealed, it is like, I'm shocked that there is a hagsploitation like witch performance nominated for an Oscar here. So that's cool. She deserves to be there, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on some of the structure stuff. Like, I don't know if I needed the vignettes of each and every different character's day. Although the cop who's played by Aiden, what's his last name? I don't
Alden
know.
Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich. He's actually might be the best performance in the whole movie. He's so funny. He's great. He's great. And you know, I think Krieg has a lot of talent. I love the scene in the gas station with Marcus when he's like in the witch spell and he's chasing after Julia
He's doing
Garner,
the Naruto run at him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I know. It's so crazy. And Josh Brolin's also great. It's a really great Josh Brolin performance.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. I'm so curious if Tiana wins Best Supporting Actress for one battle after another.
I'm curious too.
It could happen. We'll see. It could happen. It definitely could happen. So yeah, like the one battle stuff, like where would you put it on your PTA list?
Oh man, good question. That's fucking.
Right?
I haven't even had a chance to actually even think about that yet. It would be fairly high up there, but it would be recency bias for sure. Because every PTA is one of those filmmakers where I go back and I rewatch There Will Be Blood, or I go back and I rewatch The Master, I go back and rewatch Phantom Thread. Whatever one is the most recent one I watched, I'm like, yeah, that's probably his best movie.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
whatever the one is the most fresh, the one I'm thinking about, the ones that's currently naughty or in my head. I saw Inherent Vice again on a print, I think like 2 years ago, and I went, that's his best movie, hands down.
Inherent Vice is amazing.
So I have a really hard time ranking him, but it would be up there probably, at least in the top half for me, like the top 5, I think.
Yeah, I think it's top 5 too. I think Inherent Vice is incredible. Like, one of the things about Inherent Vice too is like it's about so much stuff that we feel we go through on a daily basis in terms of just like knowing thy enemy and knowing the stuff, like the power of what they can do. Like the neoliberal rot that's involved in it, it's
obviously such a companion with one battle after another too. I'm curious if there's anyone who maybe didn't latch onto Inherent Vice the first time they watched it, but liked one battle. It'd be very curious what they make of it when they go back after and they compare the two.
Sometimes, I think people have trouble with Joaquin in terms of like, emotional connection with him. I love Doc Sportello as a character. I think he's again one of like the very best PTA characters.
Yeah, but also the deliberately like disorienting, like long goodbye nature of like Inherent Vice 2, I think kind of throws people off. Unless you're prepared to just go with the flow, go with the stoner character and just absorb it rather than completely understand it.
Yeah, I love it. I love that movie.
But it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, The Master has always been my favorite. I've always said The Master. I just think it's like
hard to deny.
Oh my god, Philip Seymour Hoffman is just incredible in it. Like, I don't even love it for Joaquin so much as I love it for Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's like really unbelievable in it. I think about The Master a lot. I think about Phantom Thread a lot. This one is such a crowd pleaser for me. It's his most maybe crowd pleasing movie. It's his most Jonathan Demme, I think, actually. I know he loves Demme. This feels like the closest thing he's gotten to Silence of the Lambs, where it's like a pulpy blockbuster movie about something. If Silence of the Lambs is about feminism, then this is about white supremacy. Like, it's like, I think it's doing, I think, a lot of the similar things that movie tries to do. It's maybe top 3 for me. Yeah, it might be top 3 along with Master and
Hell yeah.
Enterprise for me, man. Like I really like.
I see myself coming back to it a lot. So I've already watched it 2 or 3 times, and I'll probably, as soon as I get the 4K Blu-ray, I'll be watching it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there was another movie that came out in 2025 that had a lot of chatter online and a lot of chatter with us movie people. Eddington,
and I'm gonna guess it wasn't nominated. I'm curious.
It was
not nominated. Okay, I didn't know where you're going with this then.
Do you think that's a mistake?
Personally, but here's the thing. I'm gonna guess you're talking about Eddington.
Yes. Was Midsommar nominated? Was Hereditary nominated?
I don't think so. I think it might have got some. Toni Collette nominated for her performance, but I don't think like he was not ever nominated for like writing or directing as far as I'm aware. But maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't think he was.
But no,
No,
yeah,
no, it wasn't.
I don't think Eddington is not a movie that I would have expected to be here. I was not disappointed that it wasn't here, only because I just never expected it to be here in the first place. But for me, Eddington it's up there with One Battle and Marty as like some favorite movies of the year. So like I thought Ari Aster, he kind of surprised me with Eddington because I wasn't crazy about Beau is Afraid, and when I heard the premise for Eddington, I went, okay, so he's linking up with Joaquin again, he's doing a comedy again, he's doing a satire again, and it's a COVID Western. I was like, literally, when I heard that was like when the Deadline report came out that was what he was making next, I was like, that sounds like the worst movie ever. What the fuck are you doing, man? So I was really surprised when I sat down to watch it, and it was like the 2.5 hour slow burn absolutely worked for me. The fact that the second half flip into like a Jim Thompson like serial killing sheriff novel, which I had spent the last year before it unknowingly reading. Like I read like 3 Jim Thompson novels because it was just a phase I was going through. Every guy goes through a Jim Thompson phase. I was going through it just in time for him to literally like straight up tell Bill Hader that he was like doing Pop 1280. Like he was like, I wanted to do this, but I wanted to do it with like a frustrated mega adjacent sheriff in a small town dealing with a sort of like liberal mayor and fighting over, some of the COVID restrictions and stuff that he was going through. And I was just surprised at Ari Aster's, the amount of, a lot of people gave him shit for this movie, I think, because they felt, and I don't think entirely unfairly, that he was doing a South Park both sides are idiots and I'm above them kind of thing. I do think that he courts that reaction with some of the caricatured writing of some of the specific characters he does, especially the young activist kids. But I also think that he has so much empathy for a lot of those characters, and just feeling that there are bigger forces at play here. The world is kind of wrong, and we're all retreating into our own algorithmically fed rabbit holes trying to make sense of it. And I think he includes himself as someone who was doing that during COVID. And if my timeline looked a lot like his timeline, if this movie was any indication. So I saw my own timeline rendered into, movie form in this way, and then turn into a fucking, Jim Thompson splatter Western thing that, had some No Country shades to it, I was really blown away by Eddington. So I would have been happy to see it here, but not something I would have expected.
I was so surprised when I saw that movie, and I had like an hour discussion with a friend of mine that I saw it with. I think it's a gutsy film. It's not easy to talk about 2020 and take the viewpoints that he took. It's a very, very gutsy film. It
would be so easy to just skewer that conservative sheriff Joaquin Phoenix character.
Yes,
it would be so easy to be like, this is just a mega idiot. I have no sympathy for this guy at all, and I don't think that's the movie that he made. I think that he is, like, surprisingly, despite even the psychotic and violent turn that character takes, he is, I think, surprisingly, like, these guys exist for a reason, and they come out of something, And I think that he observed that well.
I got a question. So you are one of the few 3 billboards in Ebbing, Missouri defenders that I know.
Defenders, okay.
Did you think the movie was similar? I thought it was similar to the movie. Now, I don't like 3 billboards. I just think there's something about, like...
I could see that argument.
Go ahead.
Sure. I think that this is a way better version of maybe the thing that he's doing there, and I think partially because I think Ari Aster... he's from New Mexico and he spent COVID in New Mexico, and he actually interviewed a lot of, he did a fantastic interview where he talked about like the Joaquin Phoenix character is like an actual sheriff in New Mexico that he left him nameless, but he was like, a lot of his lines of dialogue are taken from this actual guy. And so I think it's a little bit more authentically observed even when he's caricaturizing those characters, whereas as much as I did not hate Three Billboards the way other people did, I understood the critique that this is like a British playwright exaggerating American characters in a way he doesn't fully understand. I totally get that. So yeah. I don't think that's what Eddington is at all, even though I do see the comparison.
You know what I mean? Like there is a
this political moment in small America.
Yes, but I also think there is a flattening of a neoliberalism that exists in Three Billboards that I think also exists in Eddington, right? Like, so for example, Pedro Pascal's character, who I think this is the only Pascal performance I actually like. Like,
he's so fucking good in the movie,
so
and as speaking as the
perfectly cast,
speaking as the Canadian here too, I do believe that he is doing like a Trudeau thing with his performance, like just that handsome, smug, liberal kind of, and he's so fucking good at it. There's a moment in the film where he's on Zoom with like the environmental activist, and he mutes himself, and he's like, "This fucking bitch," and I was like, he kills it. There's so much just venom in the way he delivers it.
Yeah, I think he's great. I think he's so good at it. How his son not even fucking with him, like the Katy Perry, so like I think he's great in it. I actually think Phoenix is great in it too. Like the descent into madness in Eddington that he has is better than the descent into madness that Joaquin has in Joker. Right, like I think Eddington is the performance that Joker probably should have been,
and also the emasculation too. It's a similar thing that he's being asked to do. I mean, he has kind of cornered the market on a specific type of like emasculated, anxious, leading man who's very frustrated and trying to find his way out of it.
Is kind of like similar to that, right? Like even Commodus and Gladiator is kind of similar to like what he's doing too. But yeah, it reminded me of Three Billboards a little bit, but better than Three. I agree that it's better than Three Billboards. The Three Billboards also has too much monologues. It's just got like a lot of that like sit of like playwrights doing like movies, which is like a lot of monologues.
I like that the Joaquin Phoenix character is like a lot quieter, and you spend a lot of time with him just observing some of the actions that he's taking and wondering what he's thinking, and the fact that he spends that whole movie basically figuring out how to create this online version of reality that's taking place as he's running for mayor, and he's like, I am going to live in this version of events that I'm posting through, which is that I have a corrupt liberal mayor, which he's not even completely wrong about, which I think is a very interesting choice that Astor makes there, but that there's also the personal grievance of the relationship with the Emma Stone character, who has just such a tragic sort of periphery element to the fact that she was like sexually abused as a child, and and he's trying to connect that to the Pedro Pascal character as a way to oust him. And I just find the trigger so amazing that when the online version of events, this world he's trying to build, doesn't work, that's when he goes, I'm going to go macho cowboy man of force my way in order to make this work, and then suffering the consequences of that. And, the fact that his online paranoid reality of there's Antifa super soldiers out there who are going to, destroy New Mexico, and the fact that it kind of comes true in its own weird, like, fantasy kind of way. Eddington is quite the movie, and I am not surprised to see that the Oscars did not necessarily think too highly of it.
The one thing I can't tell if this, you tell me if you think this would have made a lesser movie. The one thing I wish was that I still can't tell what he actually thought of George Floyd's murder. Like, the film itself, it pins these, there's scenes in if you guys haven't seen the movie, you should have, but if there's scenes in the movie that pin a black police officer or a black sheriff who's in the sheriff unit in Eddington. And it pins him against like corny white protesters who just started doing this woke shit and like aren't really actually about it. And they're like, you should be on our side, you're black. And he goes like, he's just like, no one hates bad cops more than cops. Like, I still wish I knew what Ari Aster as a filmmaker thinks of the George Floyd murder.
Sure.
But I wonder if that's similar to the argument that I hated everyone making about Oppenheimer. Sorry, excuse me. The argument everyone made about Oppenheimer was he should have showed the Japanese, and I was one of the people like, that's not what the movie's about, right?
Yeah.
I hope I'm not doing the same thing with critiquing Eddington, where it's like I just don't quite know what Ari Aster thinks of the George Floyd murder, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a entirely unfair way to approach it, but I think that what he would probably say about it, and I don't want to totally put words into his mouth, but I have a feeling that he was looking at it with the idea of he was in New Mexico watching this happening, and he was going and he was like, this is it, like Black Lives Matter is very different in this particular community than it is in New York City or in Minneapolis and I do think that like if he had opened this movie up, you would have a better idea, but I think the insular nature of where this was happening and the authenticity of that was really important to him. So even when because I think it's important that the activists are all young white kids, but I also don't think that like the young white girl who maybe gets a little skewered by the movie, I don't think he's like shitting on her because of anything that she's doing. I think he's just going, she doesn't know what to do, and she's trying to, and she's seeing online friends and figuring out like she has some idea, but she doesn't. What she's talking. And whereas I think he's a lot more cynical about the guy who gets involved in the kid who gets involved in the movement, and then by the end of the film swings entirely to the right and basically becomes like practically a Charlie Kirk guy or something like that, right? I do think that if Aster lets you know about anything to do with his personal politics, it's just the last shot of the movie. Which is the AI data center or whatever it is, right? Yeah. Like I think he's going, look, this data center is storing all of these online realities we all fragmented ourselves into believing it's what reality is, and there's a lot of money being made by people here who are benefiting off of all of us retreating into our own insular communities and going fucking crazy and killing each other. Yeah. And I think that if there's any sort of major political statement being made, I think that that's all Aster has to say about that in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I felt watching it, especially at the end, everything clicked into place, by the end, like everything really, really clicks into place. Very, very compelling film. Like it's one of the more compelling movies that came out this year.
I really liked it. So I'm a little sad to see for a lot of people it kind of became the one battle after another versus Eddington. Which one? I was like, I don't know. Why not both?
Why not both? Right? like 10 years from now, I think One Battle is definitely the better film. But also they're not doing the same thing. They're not doing the same thing. Like I think One Battle is taking a more political statement than Eddington is.
Absolutely.
Like Eddington, as you said, is like about this insert community. One of the funny things about Ari Aster is, one of his favorite movies is Do the Right Thing, which is like, I mean, obviously that's everyone's favorite movie, but yeah. he was in a Criterion closet and he picked that, and I thought that was interesting. Like Ari's not, he's not Martin Scorsese, so him picking Do the Right Thing, I do think is interesting. Like out of all the movies you would expect Ari Aster to pick, I don't know if you would expect him to pick Do the Right Thing in the closet, but
yeah, there's a lot of people who would be like, well, he's going to pick all the really bleak Michael Haneke films,
right, or John Carpenter, or whatever, yeah. I thought that was interesting, and I think aspects of Do the Right Thing in terms of the way it's talking about how these people in this small community are coming at each other and are at odds with one another. It's a little bit similar to what you see in Eddington. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if I ever interviewed Ari, which
bring it up.
I would love to bring that up. I think that would be like such an interesting idea, right? So much of the characterization of the characters in Do the Right Thing is like no one's ever actually talking. I don't want to say correctly, but sometimes like people are being a little bit unfair, like Bugging Out and Rated Raheem, for example. Mm-hmm. They're right. Like, I think Bugging Out's right? Like, why aren't there brothers on the wall if you have this pizza place in our community? Why don't you have black people on this wall? Why are you a prick about it when I ask you? Like, I think he's right. I also think Bugging Out is like a little bit of like an internet brain. He has a little bit of like an internet brain where it's like, I want to cause problems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a little bit of a troll. Like, Raider Raheem, like, shows up to a pizza place blasting Public Enemy. And, like, you know, Sal's like, there's no rap here, which is obviously a racist statement by, like, an old white Italian man. But also, like, he is playing the music, like, a little bit loud. It's a little obnoxious. You know what I mean? Like, I think Do the Right Thing is so brilliant in the fact that there are no perfect victims, right? Like, you can be a victim of oppression, but you don't have to be a perfect person. No one in that movie besides the mayor I mean, the mayor's a drunk, but like...
Yeah, there's dimensions and there's a world and a history to every character, even if you only know them for a couple minutes in the movie. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think Eddington does a decent job of having that as their characterization as well. Like, Sheriff Joe, you understand how he descended into this madness, right? I think you feel for Emma Stone's character and why she descends into this cult that...
Yeah, I mean, even the conspiracy theorist mother, and the fact that she believes in every single conspiracy online that possibly exists, but the idea that, like, her own daughter was maybe raped by her husband, and the history of, you know, men in power taking advantage of young girls is, like, too far of a stretch for her. So that's why the daughter then has to go to Austin Butler, who is, like, the online, like, Epstein YouTube guru guy, right? And, like, and you say that, and it sounds absurd, and it's silly, and it is in the movie, but I was just surprised the amount of like sympathy he has for the characters trying to make sense of their worlds and trying to retreat into whatever community, even if it's boneheaded. He was like, yeah, that girl was not, you know, like, Emma Stone is going through a lot, and both her husband and her mother are basically trying to ignore it.
Right. Yeah. They have no idea why they're trying to. Yeah, exactly.
There's a photo of the rapist dad on the wall in their house, you know? So, of course, she fucking runs away with Austin Butler.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's not even spelled out in the film, right? Like, they obviously...
No, that happens on, like, the sidelines of the film, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, it was not... Mayor Ted that did that. So, you know, I thought it was a very interesting film. Marty Supreme. You saw Marty Supreme.
Good ass movie.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that we're in with Chalamet is really interesting to me because he, like, wants it really badly, but he's got the talent to really back it up too. Like, he's very, very good at Marty Supreme. He's not my...
Yeah, people were annoyed by the campaign, but I kind of went, I don't know, man. I believe in the athlete grind set he's got right now about how he's going to achieve movie star greatness, and he's really lucky that the time that he decided to get as annoying about that as possible is like the performance where he earned it. It is like Marty is. Josh Safdie wrote it for him. If there's one thing you can credit the Safdies with, I think in general, is when they write something for an actor. And when they cast, in general, they're looking for naturalism. They're looking for something that is inherent to who you are so that you don't even really have to act. You just perform it. Yeah. And so when he wrote this for Timmy, he clearly saw this quality in him and was like, I'm going to write a character where you get to use that. And, like, yeah, the Marty character is an absolute fucking grind set dickhead for the entire movie, and it's fantastic. So, you know, that was you felt the same thing when they wrote Uncut Gems for Adam Sandler. Like, you could see, you know, that the confidence and the humor of that character, but also the fact that he's a bit of like an anxious ball of, you know, entire Jewish history in that character.
Yeah. For me, Gwenyth, I think, is a big snub, by the way.
Yeah, because she's not in Best Supporting Actress, right? Yeah, she was amazing. She's
Gwenyth
amazing in the movie.
Is a snub. I think Gwenyth is very, very good. It's a very soulful and pathos.
I think it was tough for them with Marty because there's so many supporting actors in that film, and none of them are given quite the level of screen time some of the ones I think that got nominated were, because I mean, like, I thought Odessa Zion was really great in Marty as well, but yeah, Gwenyth feels like would have been the one that makes the most sense, and she is incredible in it. So yeah, you're right, it's weird that she's not there, but yeah, sometimes if people are overwhelmed by the amount of supporting characters and actors, it means that less people vote for them, right? There wasn't like one performance in that movie on the periphery where you'd be like, that's the one we're all voting for to get it in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with unlike One Battle After Another, those aren't like Odessa's name's not big, and Gwenyth hasn't really been in the Hollywood scene for a while. Yeah, so I think it's a little bit different.
I mean that's why you won't see like Chase Infinity nominated either, right?
Right. Which I don't think it's a snub, by the way. But
yeah.
I think she's fine.
Yeah, she's good. I'm curious what she does next more than necessarily this. Think, she's very good in the movie, but she's used well.
Yes, she's used exceptionally well. I don't know how good of an actress she actually is yet. We'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. But Marty Supreme, like I am always going to be more partial to Uncut Gems than I am Supreme.
That's fair.
I just think
we've had this fight before. I think once or twice about Good Time versus Uncut Gems as well. You're just Uncut Gems all the way.
I'm just Uncut Gems all the way. I just love the Sandman, man. Oh my god, I just think he's so. I just think there's a soulfulness in Howard that grounds that movie.
Yeah, you can tell that was the movie that they built to, and it was the movie that they had written like even before Good Time. Like that was the dream project. That was the one that they really put their hearts and souls into, and the one that like obviously the fact that they've made so many movies about their dad, including one that's almost autobiographically about their dad, Daddy Longlegs, where Ronald Bronstein, the co-writer and co-editor, literally plays their dad. But Uncut Gems is the one where you could feel, I think, all of that loaded history of the fact that they had a father who was like one of these hustlers who they kind of recognize was an obsessive, compulsive, probably terrible for the family, maybe bad father to them, but someone they loved anyway and thought was an amazing personality in person. And that heart, I think, is all over Uncut Gems, and maybe a comparison to Marty and Good Time, which I like almost as much in terms of like the craftsmanship and everything, and because they're all so different from each other, even when they're the same. The
craft of the part. I think part 3 of Marty is incredible craft. It's just an incredible, like, from when he is in Japan after Mr. Wonderful hits him with the paddle, and then he goes to Japan, and that part, and then particularly the close-up of Timmy when they're giving this sham award to the Japanese player, and his face is like he's just like can't handle it. It's similar to Howard in the club when he looks at The Weekend with Julia, but it's I think it's so well done. That final match is like, it's just like explosive filmmaking. It's relentless.
Yeah, I mean, and I also just like that stretch, because I mean, like, what I love so much about what Josh Safdie does in general is that like the artistry and craftsmanship of like his movies it's some of the breathless pacing of how he gets from set piece to set piece, but also that chaos management of the fact that the character and he at the same time are doing this like spinning plate scheming. Like, how are they going to keep this going? Who are they going to get into the next room with to steal money from, to recover money they probably lost from a character in the last scene? And there's just a stray dog kind of like mania to the way that he moves from thing to thing. And Marty, for me, just has a level of expensiveness and confidence to how he applies that. So that section where he goes from running out the fire escape into the pet store, into the dirty motel bathtub bit where Abel Ferreira, the fucking god, shows up with his dog and it falls through the fucking motel room. Then they go to the Tyler the Creator Color of Money like bowling alley hustle that they're doing there, into the gas station and the farmhouse where there's the fucking action beats happening as well. Like, it's such a tour de force, I think, of creative, character-driven, like, situation escalation with just so much tension and so beautiful, and throwing in Darius Kanji shooting all of this beautifully on long lenses, throwing in Jack Fisk doing all the 1950s production design. Like, Marty kind of blew me away, even though I totally get that, like, this is a character he maybe hasn't thought about as much as he's thought about Howard, and he didn't have 10 years of like, I'm putting my heart and soul into Howard. Marty is a new character to him, and I gotta be honest, part of that was what I liked about Marty, because I mean, the way that he talks about it, Josh does anyway, is that like, Marty came out of the fact that Uncut Gems, when they finished it, they were like, that was the dream, we were done, we had no idea what was next. And so Marty is like the movie where he kind of goes, he's wrestling with that. There's more self-portraiture in this one rather than it's important that Marty is young. It's important that, unlike the other characters in Good Time and in Uncut Gems, Marty is given some grace. He's given you can learn. You're young enough to figure this out and turn your life around and maybe realize something about yourself. And yeah, he's recognizing, I think, these self-destructive qualities in I think a little bit of himself, but he's getting to the end of it and kind of, it's worth noting that Josh Safdie, for sure, this is the movie you make after you have your first child.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Young man becomes the father after having daddy issues for 4 movies.
Yeah. You can tell, when Marty's 80s output, you can tell it's post cocaine addiction. You can kind of see it. He's just thinking about things in a much more different fashion. Raging Bull, the King Comedy, After Hours, Color Money. Those things, they just feel like the come down from Taxi Driver, and it's insane fucking film. Clearly coke addict film.
Yeah. Did you like the anachronistic stuff in Marty? I saw some people were iffy on whether they liked that there was so much 80s style and mood to the way that it moved and the way that it sounded and that kind of stuff. Even though you could tell the reference points for what he's making here is more Color of Money or Risky Business or these movies that come out in that era versus the 50s era.
Yeah, there's even a little King Comedy in it. I think I think that generally speaking, Timmy is playing a Zillennial Motormouth in the 1950s. So I think
and that's why I think it makes the performance work better because if he's just trying to do straight period recreation 1950s movie, I don't think Timmy works in the movie.
I don't. I'm less interested in that movie.
But making him do a young Tom Cruise in the 80s thing, that's a very different thing.
That's a different thing, right? His little Cruise, there's little Michael J. Fox in it too. That frantic Michael J. Fox kind of energy. There's a little bit of Leo and Catch Me If You Can. I love the bravado. I thought the physical comedy is great. He's got a little when he's entertaining the crowd in the ping pong scenes when he's doing the world tour against his Jewish coworker, but also when he is doing the sham match against the Japanese guy. He's doing the chicken dance. There's a little bit of Charlie Chaplin physical comedy Timmy's also doing in it that I think he's really flexing his actor bones. I study acting type of bit, and I think that's great. I think that's I think it's I love that.
It's his best performance and his best movie for me. So I would be fine with Marty taking things that it takes as well. This is a tough year.
It's a tough year. In fact, I think that I didn't quite see it in. I liked Call Me by Your Name. I liked Bones for All. I liked a lot of some of the stuff he was in. Beautiful Boy isn't a good movie, but he's trying hard in it. There's a lot of stuff that I think I liked him in. I think this is the best thing he's done, and kind of the thing where I'm okay, he's here.
Yeah, Dune was, I think, the progression where you could kind of see he's starting to form out what his movie star, qualities are going to be, and I'm very curious because I know we're gonna get the third one this year, and I've read those books, and the third movie, if he does it correctly, is going to be very alienating for the Timmy Hive, because he has a lot of feelings about that character assuming power and what he does with it. So
yeah, but he's here.
He's here.
He's here.
It's Timmy's era.
It's his era. So I'm interested to see what he does with it. It'll be really interesting to talk about. So you are also, we're really flipping here, but you are also a Toronto sports fan.
Okay. Yeah, we're moving.
I'm actually curious. What are there movies that are set in Toronto? What are the best movies set in Toronto?
Best movies set in Toronto is interesting. Because we have so much stuff that's shot here, but it's always Chicago, Toronto as Chicago or Toronto as Detroit or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that most people would probably argue one of the Cronenbergs, because even though they don't necessarily say Toronto, they are usually like, like something like The Fly is like blatantly Toronto. So there's so many Cronenbergs to choose from. But honestly, Denis Villeneuve's got some as well. I do think that one of my favorites of Denis Villeneuve's is one of his smallest ones, Enemy, the Jake Gyllenhaal film, which is where he plays a University of Toronto professor and like takes the streetcar and shit like that. So yeah, no, good question. I'd have to actually think. At some point I'll make a list. I'll be like, these are the best Toronto set movies. I think most people default to like something like Scott Pilgrim, but not me. Not me.
Yeah. You're a
But yes, Toronto sports fan for sure. Mostly a hockey guy because I grew up playing hockey. I played hockey for like 10 years.
You know what's a really interesting hockey film? It's not really a hockey film, but like Four Brothers.
I like Four Brothers.
I'm a Four Brothers guy. Yeah. Me and our buddy Rob Franco were big Four Brothers people. I'm a huge fan of Mark Wahlberg being like, I got the rock now. That's my favorite. That's like my favorite thing. But like Tyrese also plays hockey in Four Brothers. I think it's amazing. It's like, no way Tyrese knows how to play hockey.
Come on, Tyrese. There's not too many great hockey movies out there. I'll be honest. Yeah, it's like we have Goon here in Canada. Miracle is I think the big one that people point to, but that's also Slapshot, of course. Yeah, that's a really good one. But that's just it. Is I think some of the ones that are the most like the best ones are like Slapshot and Goon, where they're kind of like comedies, ensemble comedies based sort of around the sport. Miracle is the only straight up full on like sports centered movie first. Like it is a drama. It is about a specific tournament, and also is the one that you watch where they trained, like they found junior hockey players and taught them to act rather than did the reverse and tried to get like actors who could play hockey. So it's the one where like the actual camera work skating on the ice is capturing like actual play from people who know what they're doing. Because that's kind of rare. And I think that's what in sports movies, even if you watch like a basketball movie or something too, I'm sure there's some people who watch enough basketball, they're like, that's an actor who doesn't actually play basketball.
Right. Well, that's the Wesley Snipes in White Man Can't Jump syndrome, right?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
He's literally like dribbling ridiculously too high, right? Which is why when I always argue with people about He Got Game, a lot of people's arguments is, well, Ray Allen can't act. And it's like, okay, I do think he's a little his monotone's a little flat. His live videos are a little flat in the movie, but he's playing like a 19-year-old hooper who doesn't really do much but play basketball. So like it makes sense that he would have like a little bit of a flat affect. And secondly, like he's amazing at basketball. So the basketball scene at the end, Ray Allen's perfect in it. Like a lot of the basketball scenes, Ray Allen's perfect in it. It's like. And that's a movie about a lot of different things, but also more specifically about a love of basketball. So it's like, I think. But anyway, you're a Toronto sports fan. What did you feel about the Maple Leafs last year? Like the annual Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs playoff tough. Exit.
Yeah, last year was tough. Yeah, last year was
pretty tough last year. Yeah, no, last year was, the vibes in the city were this was the year. Like this was, and they're always this is the year, to be frank, actually. But last year was the one where they went, hey, look, they got Craig Berube, a coach who coached the St. Louis Blues from last place to a Stanley Cup famously in 2019. Teaches a much more like dump and grind kind of style that was meant to compete with a team like the Florida Panthers or the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Boston Bruins. Like that's been the Leafs' problem for like 10 years is they are in one of the toughest divisions in the league with fantastic teams that always make the playoffs. And they were just kind of soft every single year. They came up against these teams that just played grinder, more physical hockey. So last year was their first year being like, we've changed out a lot of the personnel around the Stars to play this more physical style. And it got them the deepest they've gotten. It got them to Game 7 in the second round, which sucks to say that's the deepest they've gotten, but it is the deepest they've gotten, and it was also against the winning team, which is not a very good excuse, and it's not good enough. So, but it's just, it was pretty tough last year. Mm-hmm. And this year, obviously, the big drama of losing their Mitch Marner, one of their star players, hometown boy who they drafted and had been playing there for 10 years, and losing him at free agency to the Vegas Golden Knights was a big, how are they going to make up for that? And they're trying to be like, well, we're going to make up for it in depth roles kind of deal. And so far they are fighting for a playoff spot and not even in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out for them.
At least you're not a New York Rangers fan. The Rangers
I would not want to be a New York Rangers fan.
The Rangers
at the moment
so bad. They recently came out with this letter to fans saying
I saw that.
Yeah, how like disappointed they are, and like how like some of our veterans that have given us really fun moments in the past couple of years will be traded. And it's just like, this is the most depressing letter. This is a letter from
Yeah,
them.
I mean, I'm glad that they officially said something about it, because they had basically been doing that for a year and a half, right? Like they had gotten rid of Trouba, they had gotten rid of Kreider, they had gotten rid of some of these veterans who had been good for them for a while, and for reasons that the play wasn't working. But Trouba went to the Anaheim Ducks, and he's having a fucking comeback here. He's having one of the best seasons of his entire career. So clearly there was just something going on, and it's nice that they finally just admitted that we've technically been in a retool for a year and a half. So
we'll see
might as well just say that that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. They do this every after the core that they try to get doesn't work. They always seem to do this. They sell them off. We have another core again. We do that again.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. They got.
Hey, at least you got the Knicks, and same with us. When the Leafs went down, we were like, hey, at least we've got the Blue Jays.
Right. That was a tough one, man.
That was also a tough one. Toronto sports fans, between Game 7 of the Leafs and Game 7 of the Jays, was there was a lot of friends and family on suicide watch that year. That year, it was just fucking last year for both of them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least you got to watch the Saints after you guys won the ALCS. Yeah.
What a picture! Everyone should check out the Saint with Val Kilmer.
All right, this was so much fun, buddy. This was great.
This was awesome, man.
Yeah, this is great. Let's have you on. Big summer movie year before we let off. We got the new Spielberg, which I'm really excited about. Josh O'Connor's in that. That is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you want to talk about movie stars too, and I was going to actually bring that up at one point, because Timmy's having his movie star moment. You could argue that they're trying to have Glenn Powell have his movie star moment, but Josh O'Connor is the real, I think, one here, because he this year, Wake Up Dead Man, the Rian Johnson, the Knives Out movie, didn't love it but loved him. He's amazing in it. He is absolutely co-lead with Daniel Craig. He's amazing in it. And then the Kelly Reichardt movie, the heist film, The Mastermind.
Mastermind is a very good picture.
That is old school 70s movie star dirtbag kind of performance. Really subtle, really underplayed, really just kind of casually upsetting in terms of performance and where he takes it. And yeah, the fact that he's turning that after Challengers and going straight into the Spielberg thing, Josh O'Connor hype is very real.
He's a little Elliot Gould, evil Elliot Gould, in The Mastermind. I really enjoyed him in that. I think he's great in Challengers. He's really Zendaya is uplifted whenever she's on screen with him.
The little smirk he does in that movie, man,
incredible. Incredible.
It's so
look
so
he gives, or when he does a symbol and then he hits the mat to the point, or the serve point, and it's the little look he gives Art.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. It's
new Spielberg this summer, The Odyssey. Nolan,
yes,
obviously.
I'm excited about The Odyssey. Very excited about The Odyssey. Nolan took a leap, I think, with Oppenheimer in terms of his screenplay ability and just his mind, almost like his thought process. I think he just really took a leap with Oppenheimer. I think it's a very good picture.
I loved it.
Yeah. I think Murphy's really just maybe that Murphy performance is the best performance in the Nolan movie. I think he's really, really amazing in it.
Yeah,
But,
the fact that he's going straight into like something so big right after too, because I mean Oppenheimer wasn't small for sure, but like for by his standards, it was like IMAX cameras, yes, but it was like a character piece, and it was like he was doing more Oliver Stone, JFK, guys in rooms talking kind of, and he was making that feel huge in a way, and the weight of the history of it. But yeah, the fact that he's now going, no, I'm gonna do like a big practical Cyclops puppet, and Matt Damon's gonna like sword fight it, and I'm like, that's okay, I gotta see what that is.
yeah.
And also, I will say this here, I will never admit this anywhere else. I am like a number one Brad Pitt Troy defender. I like this kind of shit. It's good.
Troy. Okay.
It is good. I will make my pitch to you, but it is Wolfgang Petersen, the guy who did the Das Boot, the German submarine film. He is a fantastic journeyman set piece creator. Troy is crazy in terms of scale, in terms of production design, and if you watch the director's cut, hyper violence. It is like a crazy, like slicing people open, squibs flying, just nuts. And Brad Pitt is maybe the one issue I think you could say that people I think really have with the movie, because it's a very pretty boy performance and it's a very overconfident performance. But it's one of those ones where...
But that's Pitt. That's peak Pitt. Peak Pitt is always pretty boy overconfident, right? Even in Moneyball, that's peak Pitt.
He is, but it's one that he almost seems a little bored to be doing, and it lends something to that character that he just goes, dude, I'm invincible. I don't care about any of these human problems any of you guys have. And all the other actors are more doing like some more like Game of Thronesing around him is kind of what it feels like. And Eric Bana plays Hector, and Brad Pitt and Eric Bana get into a sword fight with each other that is just like absolutely incredible. So I have a very strong feeling that Nolan's version of this kind of, you know, storytelling is going to be pretty similar to Troy, and I think people will maybe return back to it before that comes out. So
all right, there you have it, Troy. I'll definitely check it out. Okay, buddy, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you too, man.